Focus. All right, click the links to become a member of the channel. Check out the other video hosting platforms on there. So you don't notice what doesn't get made. You're just noticing what does get made. Top Gun Maverick is very weird, and I know it sounds weird. I know it upset a lot of the people, the puppet master types behind the scenes pulling the strings, because it draws your attention to kind of a negative thing, something that's missing. So my point of this very short video is movies and Hollywood and the mainstream media, these publicly traded companies who have articles of incorporations and fiduciary duties to their investors, they're not acting in a way that would follow their founding dogma. They're not investing money into something and selling a product and making money for their shareholders. They're pushing ideology. It's a religion to the point of they're willing to lose money to push ideology. The evidence is before you is this weird movie, Top Gun Maverick, and they dialed down the woke a little bit. Though, I mean, if you're as far down and jaded down this rabbit hole as someone like me and everyone else who's on Gab and Telegram are, you're going to see it. You're going to see stuff if you look deeply enough for it. You know, it's like taking the red pill. It does ruin a lot of Hollywood for you. But it's better than not taking it. Like, you're never going to wish you went back in the Matrix. It is what it is. But what I mean by this is this movie in this time period made $700 million, and so it beat Avengers, and it's gonna go on and probably do fantastic. So, you know, even someone who doesn't follow movies, you look at this and go, oh, so this is a movie, airplanes flying around, doing cool stuff, cool stunts. They dial back the woke a little bit, though I'm sure if you look for it, you're gonna see it. So, okay, cool action adventure. They dial back the woke. It's enormously profitable so far, and it's probably going to go on and continue to do really, really well. And maybe there'll be, I don't know, toys and some T-shirts or bomber jackets like the guy had this, you know, sunglasses, whatever. But it's already done really well. So what's the next logical step that anyone would look at this and go, oh, so this type of movie people would obviously want to go on and make this type of stuff. A little bit less woke action adventure or comedy, whatever, but a little bit less woke. It's like that's the connection, right? You made something a little bit less woke or it wasn't anti-woke, but it was just, they dialed it back a little bit just to make a lightweight, fun movie. Right? That's what everyone would come to that conclusion. Like, oh, well, you're movie companies, you know, Zaslav, Warner Brothers, he's gonna chase that dollar, right? It's like, well, here's the thing is everyone in Hollywood, they're very smart people. These people didn't get to be where they are by being idiots, but they're not following, like you think from an outsider, and I'm an outsider too to this, you think, oh, well, articles of incorporation, you're selling a product, you're trying to make as much money as possible, increase dividends or shareholder investment, whatever, you're trying to sell something to people. That's how we think, because we think it's just a business, money in, money out, return on investment. They know that this kind of stuff, this kind of action adventure, Tom Cruise flying around in airplanes, I almost said F-16s, but that was back in the 80s. I don't know what they fly now. F-22s or something bizarre, or the stealth stuff. They know that this kind of stuff would make money. If they made a Will Ferrell, you know, buddy comedy type of stupid, you know, old school type of thing, they know that you would get, they know there's an audience for this, and that's what Maverick proved. And it's why this movie upsets a lot of these puppet master types in Hollywood, is because it brings people's attention to what they've been missing this whole time. And in the back of everyone's mind, the popcorn people are going like, oh yeah, I should do more of these movies, right? The movie was cool. It's like, why'd you like the movie? Oh, it's just, you know, there wasn't this propaganda messaging. It wasn't, I don't know, heavy-handed. It's like, not everyone's going to call these people globalist puppet masters and that kind of fun tinfoil hat stuff, but they're going to go like, the messaging wasn't preachy, it wasn't heavy-handed, it was just a little bit lighter. They dialed that stuff down. And then you start thinking to yourself, wait a minute, if I'm the customer paying for these movies in the theater or streaming, I'm paying the money. I expect, why don't they do more of these movies? If they're asking for money, why don't I get what I want for my money? If I want this kind of Days of Thunder-esque type of stupid movies or Indiana Jones type of movies from the 80s, it's like, logically you think, why don't they make more of these movies? And that's a very good question. And this movie brings their attention back to it, because you're noticing now, if it wasn't for a movie like this, you wouldn't notice what you were missing. But then when somebody makes a movie like this, you start to look at the other stuff, the woke stuff, and I've named them every other video. I named those dozen woke female-led type of movies that either underperform or bomb, like, you know, Birds of Prey type of stuff. So, like, you don't have to be a movie insider to just look at the money involved in Birds of Prey and Ghostbusters and something like this. You go, okay, well, we'll roughly categorize those as woke, and we'll roughly categorize this as a little bit less. So if you're putting money into a company to get the money to give people what they want, and they will pay you for it, why don't they make more of these movies? That's a good question. Oh, yeah, that is a good question. Why doesn't the media talk about that? Because the media and the online reviewers, they don't like this type of movie because it's bringing your attention to concepts that the globalists would rather have you not think about. You're going to eat the bugs and live in the pod type of thing. I think you know where I'm saying with that is, but I'll say that you don't have to support people who are giving you what you don't want, this globalist propaganda narrative. So a movie like this, it should bring more people's attention to the fact that if you're paying for something, you can ask for something you want. And if you want something like this, you should be getting it. So, there's going to be a ton of these type of Top Gun Maverick movies on the horizon, right? The company saw how successful this was. It's a no-brainer. You chase the dollar. That's what, everyone can see that. So where are those movies? Is the Hollywood buzz that there's going to make a bunch of these kind of, you know, buddy action adventure type of stuff? Hey, let's do a Henry Rider Haggard movie. We're going to go search for the jewel of not the jewel of the Nile, but the Queen Sheba's diamonds. I think Sharon Stone was in that movie, but that was a low budget version. But something like that. It's like, we set it back 200 years ago. Have a fun little action adventure romantic comedy. Something will dial back the wokeness. So those movies are on the. Oh no, those movies aren't on the horizon. I'm trying to say these. I'm not saying it well, but these NGOs, these billion-dollar companies, they have so much money. It's just a means to manipulate people on a global scale. They're not making movies for return on investment. They're making these NGOs. They know politics is downstream from culture. They're making, like, the Batman. Why do you think they put that line in there about the privilege line? It's this stochastic terrorism. It's this stochastic brainwashing. They're willing to bypass money to manipulate people. It sounds a little tinfoil hat, but I mean, just like look at the movies that make money and look at the movies that underperform. You're like, yeah, but these guys aren't stupid. They're making movies that constantly underperform and they're woke, or they slip in these. They'll make a hit movie, but they'll slip in some of this globalist narrative that they're trying to push, and they keep slipping this stuff in, and then a movie like this comes out. You're like, yeah, this is not about money. Like, they're willing. These NGOs. These are more like they are political organizations, but you don't think of them as having the power of small countries, because it's just Hollywood. It's just some entertainment companies. It's just Disney and whatever, all these other companies. Like, yeah, they are more powerful than countries. To the ability to manipulate and brainwash people with propaganda, it might take them 50 years to do it, but it's as powerful as a war in affecting change. And I only say that because you can look back over the past 50 years and see the enormous detrimental power Hollywood has had. Anyway, I mean, it's kind of a tortured video to get it past, to get it on YouTube. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Odyssey and Bit Chute.